Okay, this is Idris Sinusi from INSA Arts and Crafts coming to you from many places. Today, in this lesson, in this part of the day, we're going to talk about pleasure, or the state of mind of enjoying pleasure. Now, of course, we don't need to say what is pleasure and how we can enjoy it, because simply put, if you can really enjoy pleasure. What I'm going to talk about here is a story from the Hindu mythology, which says the Ashuras, which are the what people consider as demons, and the gods, and the human beings, and the humans, went to Brahman or Brahman. And they went to Brahman and they asked him, "What is the greatest of all wisdoms?" Brahman stayed there for a while, and all the humans and all the Ashuras and all the Devas were just looking at Brahman as like, "Come on, dude, tell us something." And he waited. They waited, they waited, they waited. And then he said, Da. Then he went back to the skies. End of story. Da is the first word that any infant says, the first utterance. Da. And contrary to the masculine, fatherly ego that it means dada, dad, no, it doesn't. It's a meaningless word, meaning da. It is the first sound, the first utterance, the first voice a man makes or a woman makes when they are out of their mother's womb or when they start speaking. This da means to essentially to enjoy without claiming authority. To enjoy without claiming that this is yours. To enjoy pleasure for the sake of pleasure without it leading to another stage of pleasure. And allowing it to become itself another state of pleasure. Now let's simplify things a bit through examples. Let's say you are out to enjoy, you're out with your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, and in the back of your mind, if you have an ulterior motive to this joy, it would be really hard to enjoy your time with that person. Because you have used that joy for other than its purpose. The purpose of joy is joy, not condition for obedience. And what does that mean? And how could you actually overcome that state of "I will give you pleasure, I'll enjoy with you pleasure," conditioned that you will obey me when I ask you for something? It takes, well, the answer is simple. It's bravery. The courage to enjoy a pleasure with someone without attachment to product, without attachment to a further consequence of the pleasure. And this could lead us to excuse me, to another state of pleasure, which is liberation. To liberate ourselves from the belief that we are in control of the progression of pleasure, but rather to experience it as a flow. Even the control that we control is another form of pleasure. For example, when we're having sex. A man sometimes would delay his ejaculation for the purpose of enjoying the tension of sex even more. Same thing with the woman. She would play with her clitoris and her muscles in that area. I don't know the names of those muscles, to be honest. She plays with them in a certain way so they can delay the ejaculation to increase the ecstasy. And what we're doing in that moment, we are increasing the pleasure of that space in time, charging that memory with power of, shall I say, love, and for easier terms and more reachable for understanding, ecstasy. And this is how we charge memories. Essentially, we expand on the memory and we increase our feeling of the memory because we enjoy the suffering that's contained within that memory. Otherwise, we wouldn't spend too much time being there. And in the other aspect, if we go down from the liberated sense that this is just for the sake of this, and that is for the sake of that, and they are not, they are connected, but we don't have to force them. If we have to go to the layer that's beneath them of the belief that we have control over them, we could assume that this layer, or the memory that we charged with that kind of emotional charge, is there to remind us to either go there again or not to go there again. And funnily enough, we would charge a lot of memories that we really want to remanifest them with a lot of fear because they were so good, so fucking good, and we don't want to experience them again. Now, could you believe that we can go through a memory twice? Well, in the land of no truth or lie, we have optionality to believe in what we want to believe for the sake of relaxation. What is less stressful? To believe that you can you can repeat things more than once, or that you will never repeat the same experience again. Well, if we're going to look at it in a more up close vision, without the too far of a look that this is the same act and the same result, the answer would be definitely no. You will never repeat the same experience, but you will go through progressions of that experience. And in that is a very liberating experience once you come to that realization that allows you to let go of must be this way so it can feel good. Because when you're doing that and you're obsessing on that, you are remaining accepting for the same level of pleasure because you're afraid of losing identity. Because in peaks of joy and in peaks of ecstasy, self is negated. It exists no more. And for those people who practice sex magic, and practice tantric forms of sex, they would relate to what I'm saying. Because at a certain state, during the states, and when I'm talking about tantric sex, I'm not just talking about sex, I'm talking about mundane experiences. Sometimes you'll go through what seems as a mundane experience, but it takes away everything that you are, just for the sake of a pleasure. And I don't mean that by actually, oh, I have my ideals, I have my principles, I have. I don't mean it that way. I'm speaking strictly in the land of pleasure. The land of pleasure, everyone is naked. And you only wear clothes just to take them off. Same thing with identity. Identity is just another mask that you take off while you're enjoying yourself. It is the last shield between you and joy. And you'd be like, but identity is what tells me what I like and what I don't like. No. Identity could be that. But if you are liking something and you are like pertaining to that state of mind that, oh, I'm enjoying this, I'm really enjoying this, but I shouldn't like it, know that this is not you who's influencing this circumstance. And what I mean by that, it is a trauma from a previous memory that's causing you to be like, this is so joyful. Shame if I can't enjoy it like this again. Oh, it could be better. Shame that is not with the same person. Oh, I could do it better. Shame it is not the same process. Now you understand what shame is for? Shame is an element of stagnation, an element of cover, a simple cover based on placebo to tell you that what you're doing is wrong, so you have a bit of more curiosity to even do it. But having too much of that will cause you erectile dysfunction, would cause you to become very toxic, and will cause you to become essentially very imbalanced. Now, why did I choose shame? Because essentially it's to me, in my preference, it is the worst feeling ever. Because due to my upbringing, I have it in excess. Or I experience it in excess. And not necessarily through me, but through the surrounding. And to have a sense of home or a sense of security, we attach ourselves to certain sensations, to certain emotions, to feel that we are like those people. We share the same desire. Even if we don't share the same desires, we'd want to believe that. Why would we want to believe that? So that we feel secure around them. I'll give you an example. A couple of days ago, or actually yesterday, I was with a friend of mine, and we were talking about something, and he said, I have nothing against that. We were discussing something, and he said that he has nothing against my desire for that. Well, at that moment, we could look at the circumstance that, oh, he's trying to relate. He's trying to be nice. He's trying. But the truth about the matter is, is we don't have to share the same desire so we can actually love each other. We don't have to share the same desire to feel secure around each other. We just want to have whatever we have. We just want to want whatever we want, regardless of what the other wants. But people find relaxation and security when they find people who desire the same thing. So please don't desire something different than what I want, because I depend on my challenge and comparison between me and you to make me feel good about myself. But people won't see it that way. People would refuse to see that there is a bit of rascality, a bit of evil to them. Why? Because they live in excess of shame. While the matter of the fact is, if people realize that they like to compare themselves to each other, they like to gossip about each other, but they can take a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that, they would realize that there is balance, and they would realize that they are in alignment with the fucking universal flow. Look at the universal flow. Look at the universe. You don't need to look at the universe. Look at Earth. The forest sometimes has just fire out of nowhere. The whole forest burns the fuck down. Volcanoes, tornadoes. Does the universe feel ashamed, or does Earth feel ashamed for those? No, it doesn't. It balances it out by amazing trees. It balances it out by amazing lakes and rivers. Instead of you focusing on, I don't want to be evil, I don't want to be bad, focus on how to balance what you see as evil or as a rascality. Because what you give focus to becomes you. What you look at in the mirror, the part of yourself that you look at most in the mirror, defines you more than any other part of yourself. Even though if you're not acting upon it, but that's how you will see yourself. So that's it for today's lessons about emotions. This is Idris Sunusi from INSA Arts and Crafts, coming to you from a lot of places. May no order hinder you, and in love, may chaos be your authority. We love you guys.